My favorite player in the class of 2025, Jasper Johnson, has announced his final 5 schools. I don't think many of these are a surprise. There's one that I'm a little like, oh, I didn't think they'd make his final 5. But the final 5 schools for Jasper are Kentucky, Alabama, North Carolina, Arkansas, and the surprise for me, Louisville. I did not know that Louisville would get a mention in the final 5. I knew they were recruiting him, but I think that's a pretty nice development for Pat Kelsey. Maybe something else that could have surprised you, depending on how you were following this recruitment. Illinois is not in the final 5. Illinois recently hosted Jasper Johnson on an official visit. They are cut from the final list. We did allude to the fact that that was likely in the Cameron Boozer video last week. I think I kind of threw out some like Orlando Antigua's bringing a lot of big names in, but how much substance is really there? That was based on the rumblings that Jasper wasn't really seriously considering Illinois even throughout the visit of his trip to Champaign. So anyways, that's what you have in his final 5. Like I said, super explosive, skilled, fun guard. One of my favorite players at the high school level in a long time. Kentucky, Alabama, North Carolina, Arkansas, and Louisville. Your thoughts, Cart?
Well, one, I'm on the same page as you as far as like how I feel about Jasper Johnson. I think he's going to be electric at the college level. I think he's going to be really, really good. And there's some really good options here. I would like to know before I dive into this a little bit deeper, is Louisville on here for a reason? Or are they on here as a troll because he's a Kentucky kid? Like he's like like I'm gonna throw y'all on there, but I'm not considering y'all really.
I would say you kind of beat me to it. If I'm a Kentucky fan, I feel better about my chances seeing Louisville on the final list. Like there is a world here where he's doing this because he knows he's Kentucky bound and wants to play the rival game.
Yeah, I like, but the thing is, I've been very convinced in all the Jasper Johnson videos that we've done for the past couple months that I think this is Mark Pope's like first big fish, right? Like I think he brings this home, he brings the Lexington kid back to the crib, and he makes this work. I'm feeling less confident about that now because people are like in my ears being like, "Yeah, Kentucky's third. Like it's Bama and UNC."
What? I haven't heard this at all. Who's in the ears? You don't need to explicitly say, but who's got the Carter Elliott ear right now?
Now that I think about it, who's in my ear makes sense why they're saying why they're in my ear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I let the Tar Heel Daily get to me, I think.
Okay. Yeah, look, I don't know. I haven't heard that. I think Alabama's a very serious threat. I think North Carolina's a very serious threat. I think John Calipari's always a threat. I'm not going to give them the serious tag. I would be surprised if Jasper Johnson went to Arkansas. I'd be surprised if he went to Louisville. I would not be surprised if he commits to North Carolina, Kentucky, or Alabama based on everything I've heard and how I'm reading this recruitment. Can we go situation by situation through that? Not that situation matters, right? Because if you're a 5-star kid, don't you just think like, I don't care what the depth chart is, I'm going to play?
I think it somewhat matters because in my head, he wants to be there 1 year and he doesn't want anyone in his way.
So let's talk through that. How is North Carolina high on this list with sophomore Elliott Cadeau turning into junior Elliott Cadeau when Jasper would arrive?
Well, streets keep trying to tell us that Jasper Johnson is not a point guard.
So the pitch from Hubert is you'll play off ball next to this guy.
You'll be RJ.
Yeah, good luck, North Carolina. That's that. Good luck. You're going to tell this kid you're not putting the ball in his hands because it's in Elliott's hands. Now, look, I think they can work together. If Jasper buys into that, it'd be special. He can do it. But yeah, you're competing with teams who are like, we'll hand you the keys to our entire backcourt. Like, I don't see that working with North Carolina. Louisville would be able to give him the keys, but I'm just skeptical of the Louisville interest beyond that. Arkansas is an interesting one because DJ Wagner would be a junior. We know Cal loves DJ Wagner. Boogie Flan's a freshman. I'm sure Boogie Flan plans on going pro, but you never know where that's headed. Like, I think if I was looking from the outside in Arkansas and I'm a 5-star recruit, I don't know that I would feel confident I'm going to even start for a John Calipari team that has DJ Wagner on it.
No, that makes sense, 100%.
So
And
that
I think
leaves
and I think he and I think he's staying too. Like I don't see DJ Wagner leaving after this year.
so that leaves Alabama and Kentucky, who I both think have great pitches, right? Because Alabama has a loaded backcourt, like LeBaron Philon's there. They got dudes, but Mark Sears leaves. So I think the pitch to Jasper is like, hey, Mark Sears is gone lefty guard to lefty guard. Here you go. And I think the pitch from Kentucky is like, the world is your oyster.
The what? You are Lexington.
Yeah. So, but do you agree with me? It's like Kentucky and Alabama would give him the keys to the backcourt. Nobody else here could do that.
I agree 1,000%. And look, I think it's a great pitch. I think those are the two best pitches, like you said. Um, but I'm gonna stay strong and think that it's gonna end up with him in Lexington, him in Kentucky, because like there are still some guards in the fold, like you mentioned. There are some younger guards in the fold with Alabama, like Aiden Holloway is still there, and other guards. Basically, every guard is leaving for Kentucky next season. Like it's open.
Yep. They need somebody to commit and be the face of this, right?
Right.
Like just be the heart of it. And if Jasper Johnson commits to Kentucky, then I think you see a lot of dominoes start falling. Yeah, I handicap this as Kentucky versus Bama. North Carolina with an outside shot, but I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up there. I don't think it's super serious with the other two. Selfishly, I hope he ends up at Kentucky. I think it'd be a great fit. It would make me very interested in rooting for Kentucky, which would be a nice spin since that hasn't been the case since Mark Pope has been hired. And just last thing on him cutting Illinois, like I said, we alluded to what we had heard on that. Seems like that ended up being true. Quick shout out to the Illini Cast podcast. I went on there a couple weeks ago, I think. They shot me a message though, and I think they mentioned one of our segments at the beginning of their show today, where they disagreed with us portraying Orlando Antigua's stuff as like all flash, no substance. And I do think that might have been a little harsh in hindsight from us or from me, the way I verbalized that. But this is kind of what I was alluding to, though. It's just like, okay, he got you in with Jasper. And there's a lot of Illinois driven buzz. It's like Jasper's the pivot. Jasper wasn't a Jeremiah Fears pivot. Jasper was just kind of doing Orlando Antigua a favor because they're friends. And now we flip that to Cameron Boozer, where it felt like a revolving door of like, well, we struck out on Fears. Something went wrong. Here's the 5-star replacement. I don't view these Orlando Antigua visits he's getting from guys who are inevitably not going to be at Illinois as replacements for those guys. That's all I'm trying to say. I actually love the pivot from the staff this week of going down the list and getting more 4-star types. You got to have a balanced diet. It's good that Illinois is getting 5-star guys on campus, but all I'm trying to say is like, you can only enter so many recruitments that aren't serious. And it turns out this Jasper one was pretty unserious from an Illinois perspective. And that's not what had been publicized, I felt like,
Right. Like we did a video the other day on Travion Maddox. I love that offer. I would love that pickup. That's a great one to get into. I think it's good to get in where they're getting at right now. To me, like, why are we really getting in on Caden Boozer? If that is anything more than a Zoom call, it's just like, that doesn't seem realistic.
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe they prove me wrong also. Like if they land Caden Boozer, then we're sitting here being like, holy shit, how'd they do that? But
yeah.
I think, that would be my concern. It's just maybe that goes the path of the Jasper one here where everybody loves Orlando, but can Orlando actually convince them to seriously consider this, or is it just for the show of the visits? And I think that's what happened here. Good luck to Jasper. Good luck to the schools recruiting Jasper. Car, you know what I love about you?
That I'm handsome?
You're reliable. I can count on you. Honestly, you remind me of Aaron Henry a little bit. Remember when their back was against the wall, nothing was going right, and man just showed up every day. He didn't make excuses. There were no problems. There were just solutions.
Sounds like me.
That's you. And it also reminds me of Duncan Mechanical Solutions, because if you're looking for quality furnace repair, look no further than the heating and air experts that you can trust. Comfort and quality are their standard. They're an HVAC company that serves Northeast Indiana and Southern Michigan, whether it's heating and air conditioning, plumbing, kitchen and bath remodeling, or emergency services when you need them most. Duncan Mechanical Solutions has reliable service that you can count on. Cart, remember when your basement almost exploded?
I remember when my basement almost exploded. I remember when my furnace itself was acting funny. I remember when my AC was acting funny. I wish I had Duncan in my back pocket. I wouldn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been anywhere in Northern Indiana or Southern Michigan that hasn't been perfectly cool or perfectly warm, depending on when the day called for, and that's because of Duncan Mechanical Solutions. They are the presenting sponsor for the month of July. Shout out to Duncan Mechanical Solutions. Go to duncanmechanicalsolutions.com to learn more.